that's just how it is sometimes.
It is. Welcome back to the show. Hope you guys are having a great day. It is also gorgeous here today, like it was yesterday. I did not enjoy working outside today, per se.
No breeze.
I feel like nothing quite went the way I wanted it to.
No.
But I was attacked by bees.
Happens.
Yeah, I didn't get stung, but the bees are no more.
The bees are no more.
Yeah, yellow jackets.
That's how it works.
Yeah, we went and bought some specialized bee stuff. I don't know how to say. You want to like
bee
start
repellent.
You don't want to start the good news with
Bee
basically
repellent,
annihilated an
bee
entire
killer.
colony. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about how we went and got this special stuff, and the only thing I'm thinking of is flamethrower.
Yeah.
They burnt it down.
Yeah.
They eradicated the bee.
Yeah, I seen that on the drones where they
Yeah.
shoot them out of the trees and stuff. So,
Yep.
had a pretty good day. I did a lot of driving around. I avoided an accident, so that was totally cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and met the guy who almost caused the accident way later because he ended up like on the street where I was working.
Nice.
Yeah, after driving like a specialized person.
It happens.
And he speeds away and everything else, and then ended up showing up there. So that was super funny.
Certainly.
When he made eye contact with me later, like, whoa, I just cut you off. Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't, scream at him or honk or go crazy or whatever, because I met the guy later. But anyway,
Hey, some Sav.
Yeah, hey, some Sav. Also, hey, I know I'm messing up this name, but it's IXEIO.
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 I thought you were like doing like EIEIO, but with different letters.
Well, hello, welcome back to the show. Also, Anglefur. I did that last time too.
You did.
Anglefur and another TV viewer. Thank you guys for joining us again for today's show. I think you guys were here yesterday, so thanks for watching. What kind of a special day is it today?
Well,
Also Liddy Lou and Love. Welcome to the show, Love.
Well, in terms of special days, last week we had a special popsicle day.
Special popsicle day. Okay.
This week
It was cherry.
It was cherry popsicle.
Cherry popsicle.
This week, today, blueberry popsicle day.
Blueberry popsicle day.
Blueberry popsicle.
If you got them, use them. Today is National.
If you got your blueberry popsicle, use them. Doesn't care what for.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what for.
Yeah.
Blueberry popsicle day, use them.
So today's National Blueberry Popsicle Day. Get a blueberry popsicle, eat the blueberry popsicle, then take a selfie of your tongue and text us on Discord, which you can Discord us at this link right here. That was smooth, right?
I don't know if you should be asking people to send them pictures of their tongues.
Blue tongues, specifically.
I still don't know if that's the right call.
Oh, yeah.
Because suddenly your phone is full of a bunch of pictures of people's blue tongues.
But only for here. And if we can get them here on time, we can put them up online.
That actually might be a violation of terms of service.
A picture of your tongue?
There's actually a chance that showing pictures of tongues is a violation of terms of service.
It's proof that you enjoyed the National Blueberry Popsicle
They can just
Day.
say that they enjoyed a blueberry popsicle. They don't
Yeah.
got to send me a picture of their tongue.
So we were talking with Love on Discord the other day. I see he said
I
hi.
was talking with Love earlier.
Yeah, and so are you on doing your online classes right now? They started now. Because Love is in the process of transferring to the college, right? Yeah. I don't want. I'm trying not to give out personal information.
All I know is I'm dropping one of my college classes.
How many classes did you start with?
5.
So you said, did you say 5 classes yesterday, and now you're down to 4? Wait, is this because Sophie only has 1?
No, it's because I'm not understanding one of the classes.
Wait a minute. Is it Japanese class?
It is
Oh!
Japanese class.
Which leads us right into our next national day.
Yeah, what national day is that, big man?
It's V over J Day.
Right, victory over the Japanese, where all of you proud Americans can celebrate your wins and the loss of the Japanese.
Okay, so I believe it was President Truman was in office at the time.
Yes,
and
because he certified the Manhattan Project.
Japan surrendered aboard the USS Missouri, I think. Battleship.
Yep, Japan took out like 4 boats, So we dropped the sun on them twice.
Yeah. And then helped them rebuild, which is good
We did.
because we got anime out of it.
And also helped invent a new language in the Japanese.
And the new language is?
I believe it's called katakana because it's a more American-sounding version of Japanese.
Aha.
There's multiple.
So people like us,
versions.
Can actually possibly maybe speak
No.
it and understand it. So you're dropping your Japanese class.
I'm dropping my Japanese class because
no.
I have been struggling since day one, and I have just decided that it's not worth it for me to continue.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't go with the popular colloquialisms of I dropped the class because I was too tall, or I dropped the class because
Wait, too tall. Wait, what?
So anyway, moving on. Is there another day?
Tall?
Another national day?
It's a space mountain?
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look. World Coconut Day.
Ooh, okay.
Now,
Coconut.
I like coconuts.
Lots of people like coconuts.
Coconut.
I thought that I thought originally coconut, because people like coconut milk and coconut this and whatever, but it's really like just a water inside.
Have you ever seen a coconut crab?
Never.
So, did you know coconut crab was a real thing?
I didn't know that it was a thing.
So that's my theory is that people learn to break open coconuts for liquid inside because of this coconut crab. It is a normal crab and then just has this massive claw on one side that it just slams coconuts open with.
It's got to be a giant crab.
It's a pretty big crab. Like, it's a massive crab.
So I've had coconut that I've tried to open, like with knives and spikes and lots of things.
How's that
It's
gone for you?
not easy.
You know how you open a coconut? You cement it in place. You go up to the second story of your house and you drop a brick on it.
So I've seen like videos. Oh, well, actually, we went on a cruise one time, and I saw this guy. Now his coconut was a little bit different because it wasn't the furry coconut. It was just like a non-furry.
It was a smooth coconut.
Yeah, and it was waxed coconut.
Coconut suffering from hair loss.
Coconut, yeah, with a receding hairline. And the guy held it in his hand, took out this giant machete, and it was just like, and he's holding it out here, and he's just like, wah, 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 wah. And the top just fell off, and, they made a drink or whatever inside of it. And I just kept watching the guy wondering, like, he had all of his fingers. I counted them. I had to see. And I was like, how many would you like? And then you try to, like, do three, and just to get him to hold up the fingers to see if you could see them all. Yeah, he had them all. I don't know. It's good. I know I had a hard time.
Yeah, no, that coconut had about as well of a receding hairline as I do. It's not great. It's good. It's going further and further back, and I don't like it. I'm gonna be bald by 30.
You're gonna have to do the eyebrow transplant.
I'm gonna have to sign up for.
And put it up here.
I'm gonna have to sign up for Keeps. We're gonna have to get a sponsorship with Keeps.
Okay. Any good ones? Any other good ones, or do you want to jump in?
So there's one that I'm confused about.
Okay.
Bison 10 Yell Day. I'm not making this up.
Bison.
It's on the list.
10, like the number 10?
Bison-10 space Yell Day.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I got nothing, but I think with a name like that, it's worth a look.
Now, I thought it was like a play on words like bicentennial.
Well, wouldn't you know?
What?
Bison 10 Yell Day is a wacky day that takes its name from a play on the word bicentennial.
Oh, okay. So.
Oh, I get it. Bicentennial. Bicentennial.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's why it exists.
You know what? I feel a little bit smarter now. I feel like a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
I got it. I didn't see it. It's not part of my days because, like, see here.
Is it not?
I got 1, 2, 3. Boom. That's it.
Dude, I got
Ba-da-boom.
way. I don't have that bottom one.
Well, this is yesterday.
No. The international.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have that.
So
is that wine?
I know what a bicentennial is. I've seen a bicentennial.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
You have too, probably. So
Yeah, no, I've seen bisons because you go down to Fermilab.
bicentennial, the coin.
Oh, probably. I'm stuck on meat.
I'm like, what?
I'm hungry.
Yeah. We have. I've had bison, In fact, I think you and I had a bison steak at
I
your
think
sister's
you
birthday
and I
dinner
did.
that one time.
I think so.
Yeah. So bison steak is pretty good. Yeah.
Bicentennial.
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 Okay, so how do you celebrate the wacky day? Do I want to know?
I don't even
Does
know
it
if
involve cow
I don't
tipping?
even know if I want to know it.
Cow tipping, heads or tails?
Cow tipping, bison tipping, and those are way harder to tip because they will fight you on it.
They all got you're running.
Yeah, I forgot. I completely forgot that it tells us how we can observe. How to observe. The day can be celebrated in a few different ways. You can make up an imaginary person and celebrate their 200th birthday.
Okay.
A backstory could be created about them.
What
as
if I
to
know
why
someone
they are
200
important.
years old?
So then you don't gotta make anyone up, do you? All the work's already laid out for you. It's just plagiarism at that point.
Plagiarism.
You can have a party or bake a cake for this 200-year-old person. The 200th birthday of the person who invented battle signals could also be celebrated.
Okay.
Battle signals, other types of signals could be learned for said thing. You could watch a football game with special detail attention given to the signals they use. I'm becoming really uninterested the more I read this.
No. I like the idea of just making up a 200-year-old friend
I think we.
and celebrating their birthday.
I think we get a cake.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. And then top it off with blueberry popsicle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some bison steak.
So I have a story.
You have a story.
It's not about bison per se,
Not about bison.
but it is about sheep.
Go on.
We won't want to get into that.
Might as well.
Just switch into the good news part of the program.
I'm thinking, feeling it.
Okay, so this is not about bison, but it's about sheep and birthdays. So we've had like a big increase in like COVID cases, and I don't know. Have you been following it worldwide? Because I've barely been following it locally. COVID cases.
We're supposed to follow those? Those are still happening?
They're so funny. So, this farmer, he couldn't go to his aunt's funeral because of COVID. So he used sheep to send a heart-shaped message.
Sick. He herded his sheep into the shape of a heart.
So here is, let's do this one instead.
Here is.
There you go. Watch this video. You can see it going, right?
Yep.
And it's almost like magic.
It's something. How do
Yeah.
you suppose they do that?
Well, I'll tell you. So, whenever Ben Jackson visited his aunt at her home in Australia, she not only stocked the pantry full of snacks and cooked his favorite foods, but also sent him and his sister home with handfuls of lollipops, probably blueberry. My auntie, quote, had a tremendously generous soul, Jackson, who lives in Gyra, a small town between Brisbane and Sydney, near Australia's east coast, told Washington Post she was one of these types of people that never ever forgot a birthday. You know, the type of person that just gets it, that just has a huge heart. Deborah Cowdery, known to Jackson as Aunt Deb, died of cancer this month at 63, which would have been last month. Okay.
All right.
She lived in Brisbane, Queensland. Jackson said he never would imagine missing her funeral, but Australia's pandemic restrictions made crossing state lines tough. Gyra is in New South Wales, the state just below Queensland. The service was also limited to 20 guests. The realization of not being able to go and say cheerio sunk in, and I felt completely and utterly helpless and hopeless, Jackson said. It hurt. It hurts a whole bunch. Jackson, a sheep farmer, had created art with his livestock in the past. During droughts, he would trail feed his sheep by dropping grain out of the back of a truck. After doing that twice a day for months on end, the brain and the soul get very crushed. To make the task more interesting, Jackson started laying the grain in the form of patterns and words. The sheep were trained to find the barley and would stick around to eat for about 5 minutes before wandering off. He started catching their actions from above using a drone and would share the videos on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah. He had not posted much sheep art lately, but when his aunt died, Jackson said he had a thunderbolt moment.
Thunderbolt.
A thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt moment. Yeah. I feel like I've had a lot of those moments in my life where it's like just instant, brilliant, boom, and then gone.
I have a lot of those. Most of the time, it's we could sleep right now, or this could be we could make this for food.
Yeah, so my Auntie Deb had one of the biggest hearts known to me, he said. Why not try to make a heart that showed just how big it was? The result has captured hundreds of thousands of viewers on social media. Jackson's video, sent to Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water, shows hundreds of sheep forming a massive white heart in a green field. I think she was looking down and had a bit of a peek, Jackson said, of his aunt. The video played at Cowdery's funeral, which was live streamed. Jackson said he was already a blubbering mess, but was especially moved to see the tribute play in his aunt's honor. His family, along with his aunt's friends, also appreciated the homage, but Jackson did not expect it to go viral. I think one of the reasons that it has resonated is the fact that we all need to give each other sort of a virtual hug, he told the Post. So, it's kind of neat.
Something.
I know that it's pretty original. I mean, you see them all forming, and it's kind of like you said, how did you train the sheep to do that? I wouldn't have told anybody it was food. I would actually just be like, nah, let them think it's CGI.
It's magic. It's magic. There's nothing to worry about. It's all magic.
I would have told them flat out, it takes a special type of animal. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're shapeshifters.
One of these times I will hit end stream. One of these times. One of these times I will hit end stream and I will leave.
Yeah.
And I will never return to the show.
I have to have a special animal to do it. I throw puns in there occasionally. Some of them are my own. That one was definitely mine. Okay. My next article was also sent in from a viewer, sort of. This restaurant, here I'll put a picture up. This restaurant makes a special chocolate for a blind customer with a birthday message in Braille.
Nifty.
Yeah, and my face is right in the way there, so let me see if I can put that up here real quick.
No, I'm telling you, you do the lounge and you read from afar. You slide your way all the way in and you read.
So there may be 1,000 ways to say happy birthday, but the sweetest of all may very well be a special chocolate message that was recently served up by an amazingly thoughtful restaurant staff. Creating natal felicitations in warm liquid cocoa was nothing new at London's Lucano by Gino di Campo restaurant. But for a birthday girl, Natalie Tepa, who is totally blind, the best wishes were spelled out in Braille. What gave the message an even greater meaning was that there was no advanced planning involved. When the restaurant crew learned the dinner Tepa was sharing with friend Claire Sarah was a birthday celebration, they took it upon themselves to find and recreate the Braille translation that summed up their best wishes in well-chilled chocolate. Tepa could barely believe her fingertips as she traced over the raised confectionery dots. My mind was blank for a second, and then I was like, is this in Braille? Tepa told Today. I've never had anything happen like that before. It was wild. They just really did go above and beyond. Dinner companion Sarah recorded Tepa's delighted reaction to what had become a very different kind of surprise party and posted the jubilant footage to TikTok. While restaurant manager Giovanni Galluccio maintains the impromptu gesture was simply part of the customer service they strive to extend to all their patrons, clocking in with close to 16 million views to date, the internet judged the extraordinary act of kindness extra special. As Tepa told Today, the fact that people have responded so much and so well to it shows just how much the world needs kindness right now. How much the world needs to see people doing things and going above and beyond for each other. So take heart despite how broken the world is right now. The viral video caption reads, "True kindness still exists." So I was on my way into the store the other day to get stuff for dinner, and there was this elderly lady walking out with her cart, and she was pulling her cart. Her cart had a bunch of stuff in there, and she was holding like 3 collapsed boxes, and she had like 2 big ones, and then there was a small one in the middle, and it kept falling out. So as I was walking up, because I parked all the way at the end, I've been like doing a lot of extra walking. I parked all the way at the very end. I'm walking up, and I see this lady struggling, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get there. I'm going to take the boxes and then walk back to wherever her car is, and then just go from there. Well, before I could get there, some lady jumps out of her car, older than me, much older than me, and helps this other lady that's even older than her get to the thing. And so
barrels out of the car.
before I could do my act of kindness, this other person did
You
it.
got bested by a good Samaritan.
It's kind of like just your faith in humanity being restored moment type of a thing, where you're trying to do something. All these other people are walking around. You're like, I'm just going to do the right thing. And someone else does the right thing before you could even get there to do the right thing. It's just cool. It's cool. There are people like that out there. So
it's something.
I wish I could have gotten a video of that, but I was too busy rushing to get there, only to be stood up by a senior citizen.
By a senior citizen.
Yes.
You got shown up by a senior citizen.
Yes, I did. I don't know. Any comments? You know Braille? I made a birthday card one time, letter.
Yeah?
Birthday card, letter, something in Braille one time.
How'd that go?
Hours and hours.
Hours and hours.
And hours. I tried to do all the shortcuts. I messed it up, had to restart. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
But you know what? It's worth it at the end, I think. But can I read Braille if you handed it to me? Nah.
Can I read Japanese if you hand it to me? No.
I can't read Japanese either.
I can speak it, can't read it, can't write it.
Yeah.
I can speak it.
So my next article, not about anything that I could segue into.
I don't know. Bison was nice.
Bison was nice.
And you know who goes with bison? Cows.
That's not going to segue.
Cows.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm thinking of a different article. You're right. So speaking of the bison family.
Yeah. That big old cattle family in there.
I almost said the Biden family, and that would be like how weird.
Speaking of the Biden
Speaking
family,
of cows, let's talk about... Yeah, speaking of the Biden family, let's talk about cows. So I do have a couple articles in here, I think, about the recent hurricane that came through here.
Ida. Yeah. A lot of people have been calling it Ida, and I don't know why.
So I forgot about this article, actually. So thank you for doing it, because I was thinking of this one, which is something totally different.
I'm like, how is that going to transfer to that?
I actually could have segued into this one perfectly with my Walmart story, but I messed that up. So some Good Samaritans rescued 60 cows.
60 cows.
From Hurricane Ida's waters.
First off, what were the cows doing out in the lake?
Yeah. Some Louisiana cowboys recently undertook a very different kind of cattle drive after Hurricane Ida left grazing lands flooded, and they've been using airboats to get the job done. We got about 300 head of cattle out of here that we got about 300 head of cattle out here that we couldn't get out from the back pastures in time before the storm came in, being that it was a quickly developing storm. Lead volunteer Derek Billiot told WGNO News.
Billiot.
That's what it says. In storms past, Billiot routinely employed his airboat to rescue people rather than livestock. This time, luckily, since most folks who found themselves in Ida's path heeded advance evacuation orders, he didn't have to. So far, Billiot and his water skimming crew have rounded up about 60 head of cattle in parish plaque mines. The exhausted bovines aren't always 100% cooperative, but at present the rescuers are taking a no cow left behind attitude. Many of the stranded animals are mired in mud and trapped by marsh debris. The volunteers have been attempting to coax the heifers to higher ground when possible, but mostly they've had to resort to roping the flood victims and dragging them to safety. While this Good Samaritan-led cattle drive is a serious business, Billiot can't help but see the lighter side of the roundup. Welcome to South Louisiana, he quipped. Real rodeoing. Real rodeoing.
You're
His
doing
words.
so good.
It was.
So
He's got
good.
that southern thing, and some of those quotes. I'm like,
Welcome
I
to
don't
South
normally,
Louisiana.
I don't
It's
normally
real
talk.
rodeoing.
You know, if I'd talked like that, I probably would have gotten it all right. But
Yeah,
welcome
but
to South
but you
Louisiana.
gotta remember, it's Louisiana, so they're probably near New Orleans.
Yeah. You know, I can't do that.
New Orleans.
Yeah, I'd be better off trying to. Never mind.
They're all
So,
from New Orleans.
I didn't have any pictures of that, but
No pictures, but cows.
you got to get the cow in the airboat. You got to make sure they don't tip the airboat over. And then you got to make sure they stay still. And what happens when you're driving along and the
No,
cow's
they're
just
not.
like, abandoned ship?
They're
and
not
just
putting them
boom.
in the airboat. They're just roping them and dragging them along.
Well, some of them. Some of them are coaxing.
Because that's what I was trying to think. I'm like, how do they get these cows in the airboat? Like if it's flooded, the cows, they're probably at least head height with the cows in terms of the air. How do they get the cows onto the airboat?
I just think that a little bit of food and the cow would just follow you. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, but how does it get up onto the airboat?
I don't know. And then you're like, all right, sit down.
Yeah,
Sit.
exactly.
Sit.
Stay.
It's not like it.
Stop it. No, you can't eat that.
Yes, this is the article I was thinking of. This is
Yeah.
the picture I got. So this quick thinking teen, rushes to save people trapped in a burning building.
Burning buildings suck.
She looks like a hero, just like that. You know, it's almost hero pose-ish.
Do you think the place behind her says wasabi?
Oh,
Oh, it says wardrobe. It says wardrobe. I thought it just said wasabi. That's the only thing my brain thought of was it's a wasabi place.
you know what? I now we're gonna have okay, Discord or chat.
Chat.
What words could possibly fit in that sign behind her head? We got wasabi,
Warble.
warble.
No, warble wouldn't fit because it's BLE. We can see the BE. Wasabi, wardrobe.
Wannabe.
I'd do it.
That's my introduction there. Okay, now that you've totally derailed me,
Dude,
let me try to get through this without messing up somebody's name. Without messing, I'm having a hard time pronouncing actual people's names, and you want me to like mispronounce some storefront behind it.
Wasabi.
I imagine that a storefront full of dresses and stuff in there is probably not going to be like, come buy our wasabi.
No. The place is called Wasabi because their dresses are spicy.
Oh, okay. Well, this hero school, a hero,
It wasn't a name, so you're all good.
a hero schoolgirl who saved people trapped in a burning apartment raised the alarm after being inspired by a TV show about the emergency services. 14-year-old Lily Swanson is obsessed with the Disney Plus show 911, so when she noticed a strong burning smell, she immediately stopped to investigate. She had been on a walk with her Rottweiler, Isabel, near her home in Leyland, Lancashire, but decided to try and find the source of the smell. The quick-thinking teenager looked around and finally spotted black smoke billowing out of an apartment window on How Lane. Wow. Lily ran home to wake her dad, Mike Swanson, and rang 999. Mike grabbed his ladders and ran to the scene to help those trapped inside before the building was engulfed in flames. Lily said, as soon as I called the fire brigade, we ran back outside and we could see people hanging out the window. It had only been a minute or two since I first saw the smoke, but as we were running over to help them, one of the windows blew off and fell into the street. That's when me and my dad saw the flames. I told my dad we should try and get everyone out of the other window above the barber's next door. We opened the ladders and leaned them against the building, and there were 2 or 3 people trying to climb down. They were desperate. Thankfully, everyone was evacuated safely after emergency services arrived at the scene just minutes later. Lily added, but then the fire brigade showed up and very quickly and took over. We couldn't believe how fast they got there. We did everything we could do, and thankfully everyone got out safely, which is the best that could have happened. Lily and her dad stayed at the scene while fire crews evacuated the building and ensured everyone was safe. Mike said it was a proud dad moment for me, as it could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for Lily's quick response. She's been obsessed with this TV program on Disney Plus. It's about emergency services in America who deal with things like this all the time. Then this happened practically on our doorstep, and she handled it brilliantly. I'm very proud. Leyland Fire Station Manager Johnny Nottingham, who was the incident commander on the night of the fire, praised Lily for her quick and calm response. Mr. Nottingham said, "We'd like to thank Lily for calling us so quickly after spotting the fire in the apartment. We have seen in the past that people can have lots of different reactions to seeing a fire, but Lily showed maturity and calmness beyond her years to quickly and effectively notify us."
So I went on Disney Plus to try and find this show, and it's not on there.
I must be like an overseas
I wonder.
release.
Or maybe it's not with numbers, it's with letters. Like it actually is 911. Because I looked for it with numbers.
Maybe Google Disney Plus 911 and see what comes up. Because Google will never let you down.
Oh, yes, they will.
Disney did after the first Avengers movie ended, and I was like, what? No.
Nothing about it. All 9 Star Wars films, The Sandlot, new to Disney Plus. Disney Plus, its 5-year subscriber goal in the first 9 months. I got nothing about 911. I got 911 Barbecue Shack.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Is that it?
No.
911 is a song by a band called Drama that I've never heard of.
We'll look it up. Later. I'm sure the story's confirmed, so.
No, I found it. A lot of people are apparently there's a question saying, has 911 been canceled? I didn't know it was on Disney Plus. This show came out in 2018. Apparently, it's on its 5th season.
Yeah. Coming to Disney Plus Star. Oh, yeah, so you got to put the hyphens in there. So anyway, if you want to look it up, there you go. So,
I'll give the first episode a watch.
I was thinking that you were going to say something like the wasabi started the fire, but you never got to there.
No, wasabi isn't
and then
that
you
spicy.
totally
Wasabi isn't that hot.
You totally threw me when I was working up to my grand ending with the wasabi, but now it's lost.
Have you thought of anything else that could be put in there with WABE?
No, I had a tough time just reading the article. So, my next article is kind of cool. Have you ever you've been to dances before, right?
Regrettably, yes.
Regrettably.
School dances do not count. Have I ever been to a club or anything? No. Actually, I have.
Been to a club.
I've been to an underground music club.
Illegal. No, I'm kidding.
It was fun, though. Gandalf got into a fight with some bikers.
I am so glad you brought that up, but please bring that up later, and I'll tell you exactly when. Because Gandalf is coming up in the show, and I appreciate you bringing that up. You just totally ruined a perfectly good intro segue. So, this nightclub in Scotland will capture energy from dancers to power the venue.
Do you realize how much extra energy they're going to have?
I think that if it's possible to tap the energy, you need to get a small little power room in your house, throw all your toddlers in there, and then just power the house.
But like, if it's a popular club too, with it when it's like packed day in, day out, you know how much extra energy they will have at the end of every single day.
Yeah. So anyway, this is kind of cool. So one Glasgow nightclub is working to sustainably harness the energy released from its partiers on the dance floor. The pioneering system at SWG3 could save the popular night spot up to 70 tons of CO2 per year. In the run-up to the UN's COP26 climate conference in Glasgow this November, Body Heat turns, which is the name of the company, one word, Body Heat, turns the energy from dancing bodies into a source for heating and cooling outlets. A statement from the club says, "We're hugely excited to reveal our plans to introduce a state-of-the-art renewable heating and cooling system to the SWG3 complex, transforming body heat from clubbers and gig goers into a source of energy to be used again. The first of its kind to be installed in Scotland, body heat uses heat pumps and fluids to capture body heat generated by SWG3's crowd, channeling their combined energies into 12 150-meter deep boreholes drilled beneath the venue. This heat can either be used immediately to cool the audience or stored underground until it's needed to heat the building. Idly mingling, a human body radiates about 100 watts of excess heat, which can add up fast in confined spaces. And the enormous amount of heat that people dancing at clubs or gigs generate is currently ejected into the atmosphere as waste. With this new system in place, says the club, we'll be able to utilize that warmth, consuming minimal electricity and gas on site, and in turn minimizing our carbon emissions. There's no doubt that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought huge challenges to the event sector around the world, says Andrew Fleming Brown, managing director, but it had also created a seismic jolt across businesses, underlining the need for a stable and stable future. Body heat and our innovative contributions to a global issue will help us to dramatically decrease our energy consumption, bringing us one step closer to becoming a carbon neutral venue in the not so distant future. So I think that I would have approached the problem differently. I know when I read it first, I thought I was like, oh, I know what they did. But they didn't. They're the way I think. But you just got a bunch of sweaty hot people, and you're like, we're going to capture their heat and then reuse it as basically that's the Matrix. They were using people's body heat to generate, they're like batteries.
Yeah. What does SWG3 stand for?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. That's just the name of the company.
Because all I can think of is, no, that's the name of the club.
Yeah, the club, SWG.
All I can think of is like Southwest Glasgow 3. Because it's the third club to be built in Southwest Glasgow.
It could be. It could just be letters or initials of each of the 4 owners or something, or 3 owners or something. I don't know. What I was thinking was like they just put up. Did you ever see Saturday Night Fever? I almost said Saturday Night Live.
Like
with the guy and he's dancing.
Yes.
Yeah, and they got like the glowing floor pieces.
Yeah.
I thought like, if somebody was like, hey, can you transfer a bunch of people on the dance floor into like energy? I would have had the floor like panels slightly move up and down, you know what I mean? And every time you step on it, it's like it moves like a little gyro or something, and the floor creates heat as everybody just like jumping and dancing or whatever they're doing.
You're playing Cuber with your patron.
Basically, you know those little squeeze flashlights?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically making the entire floor a multi-squeeze flashlight thing, and as people are walking over it, it's just wired to the floor, and they create. It's the only thing different would be like if you had people running on their own little treadmills making energy.
You're still playing Cubert with your customers.
Now, what I would like to do is start my own fitness center and wire all the bikes. Pedal, man.
Wire all the bikes to generators.
Yeah, pedal. Start with the bike, and then we'll work our way down from there. Yeah,
exactly.
So when I heard it was body heat, I was like, "Whoa, that's different," you know.
That's something.
Yeah. The thing is, though, still wear deodorant.
Oh yeah.
Because.
It's not gonna change. That's one thing it's not gonna change. That's one thing it's not gonna suck up and take away from you.
Yeah. So my next article, we got time, right?
Yeah,
we're going good. So this dog was given her own billboard, so she might finally get adopted after she's been in the shelter for 2 years. Look at that sad face.
Look at that sad.
Look, you know what?
It's Sally Sue.
That is sad. MissionDrivenGoods.com.
Hello, my name is Sally Sue. Will you adopt me?
Yes. So Sally Sue has been waiting a long time to get adopted. The 11-year-old pit bull's been sitting in a shelter for 2 years, hoping to find her forever home. Now one man is on a mission to see that she does, and in a minute, you'll sense a theme. Animal advocate Scott Poor's company, Mission Driven Goods, is a pet-centric venture promoting products aimed at helping long-term shelter pets get adopted. Poor, which is spelled Poore, recently took out a 30-foot billboard located where else but Mission, Kansas.
Missouri, Kansas.
Mission. I almost said it. And then you made me. Featuring Sally Sue's smiling face and a plea to potential pet parents to make room in their hearts and homes for the loving senior fur baby. On social media, we tend to promote the same story to the same people, Poor told KMBC News. A billboard, especially on I-35, it's going to get thousands of views. All we need is that one right person to go by, make eye contact with the billboard, and we're saving another life. Since the billboard is a rental, Poor is working to find the permanent funding he'll need to keep long-term shelter pets large in the public eye. Right now, he's taking a one pooch at a time approach. When Sally Sue, currently at the Always and Forever, Furever, Midwest Animal Shelter Sanctuary, I'm only spelling that out in case one of our viewers is over there.
You guys in Tennessee?
Let me just put this up here.
No, Kansas. It's Kansas. It's not Tennessee.
You never know who's going to be watching. Anyway, gets adopted. The next hopeful doggo candidate will get their shot at the big time. The dogs that'll be on the billboard are the ones that have been homeless the longest, Poor told KMBC. The goal is to find her not just a home, but the perfect home. As quickly as we do that, we move on to the next shelter pet there that deserves to be up there. While the billboard might be an unorthodox approach to pet adoption, every time another dog finds a home as a result, we'll count that as mission accomplished. That was his words. So
sick.
Kind of a neat idea.
Certainly is interesting.
Kind of like a neat idea. So last week we had the it'll get to me.
You'll get there.
It wasn't Tinder. What was it? It was they put pets on the social.
No, it was Tinder.
It was Tinder. The
It
Tinder
was
app.
Tinder.
So now we get pets on billboards.
Yeah, German Tinder has pets.
Yeah.
And now I-35 in Kansas has pets.
Boom. There you go. So, kind of cool. My next article.
Someone should just create a Tinder for pets and literally just call it Forever Home, but
Yeah.
FUR.
Yeah. So I this article, I was gonna skip it. I'm definitely not gonna put up any pictures. But I know you're reading ahead. Just since we were on the, we got a couple of different alternative energy things, and this is one of them. It's one that actually is kind of bizarre.
I cannot make any jokes for this.
A little bizarre.
I can't make any jokes because I'm pretty sure if I make a single joke, I get a strike.
So nutrient-rich human waste is poised to sustain agriculture and improve economies, says researchers. The future connection between human waste, sustainable technology, and sustainable agriculture is becoming more evident. According to new research, countries could be moving closer to using human waste as fertilizer, closing the loop to more circular, sustainable economies. The new study, directed by the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign civil and environmental engineering professor Jeremy Guest, characterizes the spatial distribution of human urine-derived nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in agriculture fertilizer demand to define supply and demand location typologies, their prevalence across the globe, and the implications for research recovery. So
That was
a lot.
way too many words.
A lot. But you know what? It was a little bit longer than his name and title at the thing, so I kind of tried to power through it. So the total amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium largely remains constant in our bodies once we stop growing, says Guest. Whatever comes in through food and drink must come out in the urine, feces, and sweat. Knowing that, we can estimate how much of each of these nutrients is in a population's bodily waste if we know their diet. Previous studies by Guess and others assess the potential for recovering the nutrients from human waste across the globe and identify locations with a surplus of human waste derived nutrients relative to the local demand for agricultural fertilizers. The new study is the first to describe human waste derived nutrient supply demand location relationships using a single mathematical equation, Guess said. The quality of sanitation infrastructures varies greatly across the globe, as do people's diets and the availability of land suitable for agriculture. Having the means to characterize and quantitatively compare locations' nutrient recovery potential can go a long way to better inform decision makers when it comes to future sanitation and agricultural policy. The team performed extensive numerical and geographic analysis of dietary, population, sanitation, and agricultural data from 107 countries to accomplish this quantitative characterization at the global scale. The investigation revealed three distinct supply-demand topologies. Countries with a co-located demand supply, countries with a dislocated supply-demand, and countries with diverse supply-demand proximities. The United States and Australia, for example, fall under the dislocated supply-demand topology. They have intensive agriculture in areas far from large cities, thus the human waste-derived nutrient supply is far away from where it is needed, Guest said. Even with advanced sanitation infrastructure in place, this means that nutrients would need to be transported over large distances, either as heavy fluids or converted into concentrated crystalline products. Economically speaking, Guest said, it would make sense to work with a concentrated product to implement a human waste-derived fertilizer in these countries. The study reports that countries with co-located supply-demand topologies like India, Nigeria, and Uganda, human populations are more substantially in the proximity of agricultural areas, making local reuse possible. In many countries with co-located supply-demand, however, there is a need for improved sanitation infrastructure. Guest said implementing a human waste-derived fertilizer program could be highly beneficial to sanitation and agriculture in these places. Countries like Brazil, Mexico, China, and Russia exhibit a continuum of co-location to dislocation of nutrient supply and demand. The study reports that policymakers need to approach human waste-derived nutrients with more regionalized strategies and a range of local reuse and transport approaches. Higher income countries in this group may have the infrastructure and economic support for various technologies, but those with limited financial resources would require prioritization of resource recovery technology. So I just remember watching this show, Lost in Space. Did you see the new Lost in Space? No. And the Robinson family's lost in space, and they land their spaceship on the ground because they had to. And while they're on the ground, or they crash land, they run out of all of their fuel, and the spaceship itself is basically like a giant RV. It's even got like extendable outcroppings and everything. And while they're on there, like they're recycling their waste product in the future. Like imagine what you're going to do when you're in space. You know?
Tons of stuff.
I saw a really neat article. I think we did it here, or we were going to, maybe last year, where there are these places that are taking like this giant, almost bladder-looking thing. They're throwing a bunch of bacteria in it, and when you get done with all of your food at the end of the night, whatever you don't use, you throw in this bladder. You can throw in your when you clean up the yard after the dog or clean out the cat litter box, you can throw all that in there. And this bacteria will not only break it down, but it captures all of the gases and stuff that come off of it that you can use to like cook food and stuff with, or heat your house. So I don't know. I just found it kind of fascinating, a different way to something that you have a supply of.
I could have gone my whole life without ever reading this article.
I do know that here's the thing.
Yeah?
Right now, they're throwing cow stuff all over the back of it, and bison.
Yeah, but I don't have to read about it or hear about it.
It's
Nobody
called
says anything about
it's
it.
called a manure spreader. This way, you just flush the toilet.
What, I drop my
straight
pants
out-
in the middle of a field?
Straight out to yeah. What does a bear do in the woods? So I don't know. You can see what happens when the dog does it in the front yard. You've got like little patches of well nutrited grass. I don't know. It's the circle of life, man.
Not mine. Not mine.
Yeah.
Nowhere close.
That's when. Anyway, you know what? Okay. So, what possessed you to bring up Gandalf?
Because we were talking about clubs. And we went to this underground club to see music.
Like a Comic-Con club?
No, like basement of a building
Uh-huh.
that had a second story, like a balcony built into it,
Uh-huh.
and like little small bands perform.
Okay.
And on the dance floor, there was a dude dressed as Gandalf who was bouncing around on one for the other and slamming into people.
Okay.
And Gandalf got into a fight with some of the patrons.
Nice. Okay, well, maybe we won't go into this story. I thought that. So, we've done some.
All I'm saying is, and at the end of the day, Gandalf ended up dancing with this, with the most stereotypical goth girl I've ever seen in my life. Like the big thumping boots
Yeah.
that have the extender,
Herman Munster.
big black pigtails that stuck out our side like giant balls.
Yeah. So, it's just bizarre because my next article, I actually saw this article and I thought I'll just throw it in there because we've done tabletop like games here. And so it just kind of thought like it was along that genre.
And then here comes me with Gandalf in the nightclub.
So this article I came across, it says, what can the wise voices of J.R.R. Tolkien, like Frodo Baggins and Gandalf the Grey, teach us about present day? I do have
You
a
can
picture,
learn a
but
bunch.
I know, right?
You can learn a bunch.
I find like I'm reading stories and like they'll say something or they'll look at something from a point of view and it's like, that's actually kind of common sense. I wish that, we could get away from the actual news.
What actual news? I turned that
where-
stuff off months ago.
It's kind of, I know like if you hear enough of it all the time, you start thinking that way,
I haven't seen or heard an actual news report in months.
Well, besides ours.
Yeah, these don't count.
Oh yeah. This isn't actual news.
You're plagiarizing.
This
There's a
isn't actual
difference.
news.
You're just taking a legal sense.
Actually, all the news basically plagiarizes from
100%.
one source.
Everyone
One
else
source.
plagiarizes.
They get it right from.
Yeah, wait. How come like journalists go and then they major in English and whatnot? And English constantly teaches us about plagiarism and whatnot when we grow up. Then when you become a journalist, it's pretty much your job to plagiarize.
Yeah, it's just your thing. Just a thing. Oh, we got 5 minutes. Oh, we got time.
You got time.
So, of course, the commentary of wise figures from the Lord of the Rings would be relevant for every day and every moment. Such is the power of J.R.R. Tolkien's writings.
Yeah, the man who wanted to write a book about a language. Language didn't exist, so he created an entire language and proceeded to write a book about it.
Yeah. So, while Tolkien vehemently rejected that his fantasy masterpiece represented anything allegorical whatsoever, one might say that it has launched itself forward to stand among the principal allegories of our time.
Wait, didn't Tolkien swear up until his dying breath that this story was history was factual history? Wasn't that? I think I read that somewhere, that he would always swear that his stories that he wrote about were actual history.
I don't know. I never heard that.
I gotta look that up because I've seen it somewhere. I know
On
I
Disney
have.
Plus.
Probably. I probably won't find it.
So I recently took to the Lord of the Rings trilogy books. This isn't me, but
Okay.
once again, as my lack of television has barred me from watching the films for 2.5 years, and I couldn't help but measure everything I've seen since COVID-19 arrived to the circumstances of Tolkien and his chief protagonist, Frodo Baggins. In the edition I read, which was not the edition my brother and I owned when we were young, a detailed foreword written by the author explained how the book came to be when he took up his pen in the waxing years of the turmoil that would become World War II, in which I found something which Gandalf the Grey might describe as an encouraging thought, a feeling that struck me again as I read the innocence in Frodo's voice as he realized he must leave his home forever on a perilous quest from which he likely would never return. Today, with warnings of waning immunity, fourth waves, and more, I thought an interview with Frodo, Gandalf, and their creator might make for a strong lesson in changing times and our attitudes toward them. The best stories are the ones which are told the best, with those wonderful literary keystones fitted neatly together. They are the ones we learn of in creative writing. Can we see ourselves in the characters? Are they flawed? Do they make the right choice, or the easy one? Can they relate to the difficulties? Tolkien and his characters reflect whether he would like them to or not, how the times during which one live tend to vacuum them up, obscuring thoughts of the future or the past. COVID-19 has been compared to many great crises.
I think
crisis.
it's crises, isn't it?
Yeah. Compared to many great crises, sometimes fairly, sometimes comedically, but we can learn from the great writer and his characters that the correct way out of a crisis is to never believe the current disaster is somehow unique in its dreadfulness. Tolkien became a man in perhaps the worst single moment in history to do so, around 1914, at the dawning of World War I. In those days, chaps joined up or were scorned publicly, he wrote in a letter to his son Christopher later in life. It was a nasty cleft to be in for a young man with too much imagination and little physical courage. He was a junior officer at the Battle of the
I think it's just some.
Somme, one of the most tragic events in human history, notable for the sheer empty-headedness of it all. Catching trench fever, he was shipped back to England, after which nearly every man in his battalion was killed. Talk about a hobbit's luck. The Great War, described at the time as a war to end all wars, was a singularity, yet as unbelievably
Calamitous.
as it had proved. 20 years later, a new generation was set to do it all again.
Yeah. Go us.
One has indeed personally to come under the shadow of war to feel fully its oppression. But as the years go by, it seems now often forgotten that to be caught in youth by 1914 was no less hideous an experience than to be involved in 1939 and the following years. Tolkien writes in his foreword. He had not finished writing his iconic fantasy books upon the outbreak of the Second Great War in 1939, and had not even finished the first part of the first book. In spite of the darkness of the next 5 years, I found that the story could not now wholly be abandoned. I plodded on it. Mostly by night, he recalled. His son was serving in the British Royal Air Force, a difficult situation for any parent. Thank goodness you plodded on, sir. Thank goodness. Now we come to Frodo. Like the Hobbit, so many of us in March of 2020 suddenly had our collective shires clouded over. News coming out of Italy, China, and a cruise ship off the coast of Washington had placed the ring of power atop all our mantelpieces. A long, hard journey lay ahead. Among Frodo's seminal strengths is one which shines during his encounter with the dark portents which Gandalf brings to him, and that he must leave the Shire behind, perhaps forever. Rather than giving up or refusing to get involved or feeling there may be no time for futures, he simply gets on with it, despite the fact that he admits he is very scared. But this, the adventure, would mean exile, a flight from danger into danger, drawing it after me. I suppose I must go alone if I am to do that and save the Shire, but I feel very small and very uprooted, and well desperate, is what Frodo says. Okay, and I'm reading this because I read this article and I thought I like the way it's put together, so I'm just reading it as it is. Okay,
Isn't it interesting that the story of Frodo takes place after the story of Bilbo? That's fun, right?
it does, yeah. And I didn't know that until later, and I had actually seen the little comic, the cartoon.
I only read the book.
Okay, I saw the cartoon where he's fighting the dragon on the gold and everything.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. So, quote, I should like to save the Shire if I could, he tells Gandalf. I feel that as long as the Shire lies behind, safe and comfortable, I shall find wandering more bearable. I shall know that somewhere there is a firm foothold, even if my feet cannot stand there again. And without much deciding at all really, Frodo acts, reasoning the world will continue to turn, and that it would turn all the better if he can throw the ring into the crack of doom in Mordor, and thereby save the Shire. This he partners with Samwise, and also notes, after seeing Frodo in a moment of doubt, a new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out it the clearer. In a separate moment of weakness, Frodo wishes none of this had happened, something which many of us have said to ourselves over the last 18 months. Yet Gandalf responds in one of the most wonderful things ever written in English, practically transposing Tolkien's experience with the two world wars, and reminds Frodo, quote, so do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All they have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to them. End quote. There peeping among the cloud racked above the dark tor high in the mountains, Sam saw a white star twinkle for a while. The beauty of it smote his heart as he looked up out of the forsaken land, and hope returned to him. For like a shaft clear and cold, the thought pierced him that in the end the shadow was only a small and passing thing. There was light and high beauty for everybody beyond its reach. And that's right from The Return of the King, the final book in the
Are you
trilogy.
gonna read us a bedtime story?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of neat to just see little things. I mean,
It's
you can go into a dark room, and it can be completely pitch black, no windows, no nothing. We're talking the blackest of the black, right? And you can get one small candle. I mean, the candle power on my cell phone is probably like a 20 candle watt or power. I mean,
Probably something like that.
and I've seen like little small things that like have 100 candle watt power, but one small candle in a room like will light up the whole room.
It will.
Pitch black.
Yep.
And so sometimes things like just I like reading these stories because it is when you're surrounded by a bunch of, you know, everything's doom and gloom, and people are dying left and right, and people are in the hospital, and everything's closing down, and markets are wavering. There's stuff like in the store that I can't find that I used to be able to find at the store, and then you see little things like this where people have written about it. People have gone through worse than I have, and I feel like, what do I have to complain about? You know what I mean? I get up in the morning and I'm sore because I worked all day yesterday, and my back is sore and my feet hurt, and I put on my, clothes, and I get ready to go for work, and I think of the guy who doesn't have legs, and I feel like, why am I complaining that I'm sore, for the guy that can't do what I do? And it can always be worse.
It can.
And so I see this, and I see that, we as a country, as the world, have gone through some bad things, and we always make it through. There's something within the human spirit that there's a really cool song I heard, and some of the lyrics, it says that hope is frail, but it's hard to kill.
Yes.
And there are some people who've gone through like the Holocaust and gone through some real bad stuff and can come out of that. We can come out of this no problem. So I don't know where we're at on time. I think we're over.
Yeah.
I'll give one honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
I'll put its picture up here really quick. So tens of millions of people. This is from Hurricane Ida.
All right.
Tens of millions have power now thanks to some off-grid solar systems. So these people went and found these solar system, hooked people back up to power. And the cool thing is these solar powered systems are recycled. They've reused them from the storm, gathered them up, pieced it all together, and got them back on power. This next article, honorable mention, is Houston's Mattress Mac and Lakewood Church open doors to Hurricane Ida refugees, letting them sleep there for free. And pecan-rich diet shows reduced cholesterol in a new study. For people who are,
people who like pecan,
you can change your entire diet to reduce your cholesterol.
Just eat pecans.
Or you can eat some pecans and maybe Cheerios. And,
every single meal, pecans.
What would be easier? It's kind of like
pecan pudding.
Do you want to go upstairs and make a 5-course dinner, or do you want to just pour a bowl of cereal?
I mean, if I'm giving entirely free reign on the 5-course,
pecans aren't so bad. We appreciate you guys watching. We hope you'll join us next week on Wednesday at 4 for maybe the end of Bowser's Fury.
I'm thinking the end.
We're going to punch the fury right out of him.
Certainly did last time.
Yeah. And then we'll be back next Thursday
with more good news.
And we'll see you Thursday at 4. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.